Well, our congratulations to you and our thanks to all your supporters who are here. I expect you have exchanged views about all of this with your parents in the course of preparing. Would you introduce your teacher?
This is our teacher, Ms. Amy Maddox and James Schaefer.
And our thanks to you. I'll ask the judges to introduce themselves, and then we'd like to know who you are.
Good morning. It's good to be here. I'm Scott Kawasaki, and I know where the panic button is now, so in case we get panicked, it's right there. I work at a hospital in Fairbanks, Alaska, and I also am the youngest member of the Alaska State Legislature.
I'm Steve Frenzik. I teach political science at the U.S. Naval Academy.
And I'm Margaret Branson, Associate Director for the Center for Civic Education. And you are?
Hi, my name is Lucy Z, and I will be attending Dartmouth College next year, majoring in economics.
Good morning. My name is Theo Roth. I'll be attending Stanford University in the fall, majoring in biochemistry.
Hi, my name is Madeline Vaughn, and I'll be attending the University of Alabama in the fall, majoring in political science. We're from Vestavia High School, and we're very excited to be here today.
Very good. Our question for today: in comparison to other democracies, the American political culture still contains many of the values that make for vibrant democracy, and these may have even increased over the past several decades. Tocqueville would not recognize contemporary America, but he might still conclude that his observations about democracy in America generally hold true today. Do you agree or disagree, and why?
Thank you. May we begin?
Please.
The U.S. population has doubled.
The standard of living has tripled.
Women make up over half of the labor force.
Political and civil rights have been dramatically expanded.
In the last 50 years, the United States has undergone rapid social transformation and would be largely unrecognizable to Alexis de Tocqueville. Yet American political culture remains much the same. While modern critics decry democracy's decline, Americans still cherish the values that make for vibrant democracy.
We argue that many of Tocqueville's observations hold true today. First, Tocqueville praised America's passion for local government, a community spirit driving citizens to action. America's colonial history of local assemblies and self-reliant communities has passed down to contemporary America.
While only 26% of registered voters cast ballot in the recent Birmingham mayoral race, and local election rates are low nationally, involvement in neighborhood associations, community sports leagues, and town hall meetings are modern expressions of community spirit.
Second, Tocqueville described Americans as uniquely active in civic associations, donating both time and money.
Modern critics disagree. Robert Putnam's Bowling Alone argues that Americans are increasingly solitary due to technology. Yet, in The Good Citizen, scholar Russell Dalton highlights Americans' shift from duty-based citizenship to engaged citizenship.
Young Americans' view of citizenship revolves around voluntary and direct action to effect policy change rather than on voting in political parties. This shift has strengthened civic association in recent decades.
Third, Tocqueville emphasizes the importance of religion in giving society a public morality and reinforcing democratic values.
Tocqueville remarked, "Despotism can do without faith, but freedom cannot." And while modern America is more secularized, religion still plays a large role in society, galvanizing morality, compassion, and community action for the common good.
Tocqueville's observations of American democracy were not all positive, especially highlighting the potential for majority tyranny. Yet, Madison's Federalist 10 argued that independent power centers balance majority faction, and for over 200 years, Americans through local government, civic associations, and churches have done just that.
Since Tocqueville's time, access to the American dream has been best promoted by the ratification and subsequent use of the 14th Amendment's equal protection and due process clauses, which has promoted equality of opportunity and fostered a greater equality of condition.
We have more economic freedom than most nations, and a vibrant, innovative economy that rewards hard work, making the U.S. the #1 destination for immigrants seeking a better life.
While income inequality has risen and social programs lag behind European nations, social and economic advancement is easier than in Europe. America's political freedom and social equality remain the envy of the world.
However, American self-reliance has changed. Modern information technology has expanded our First Amendment right to petition in the support of advocacy groups. While governments floundered, citizens responded to Hurricane Katrina and the Haitian earthquake and brought global warming and the genocide in Darfur to national attention.
Additionally, Americans relied on citizen action to foster political change, from women's suffragists and civil rights protesters to the modern Tea Party movement. Yet, some have been less likely to resist the difficulties of life through their own actions.
Businesses too big to fail expect government bailouts, and the number of Americans depending on emergency jobless benefits has soared. We increasingly rely on government for welfare, but on ourselves to bring about policy change.
As Tocqueville noted, American democracy is unique. Our community spirit, civic engagement, and religious foundations are strong, and our economic, social, and political opportunities are envied.
Americans are still those same innovative, independent, hard-working citizens Tocqueville so admired.
Despite pessimist warnings, our resolve and spirit ensures that American democracy will continue to thrive.
Tocqueville talked about the United States as being a nation of joiners, clubs, organizations, and those sorts of things. On the other hand, we hear a lot of people today condemn special interest groups, lobbyists. Where do you come down? Are interest groups a good thing for our society or a bad thing for our society?
I think Tocqueville would make a distinction between special interest groups such as those that lobby in Washington and civic associations which are much closer to home, such as like our school's SGA or bowling leagues or whatnot. And so while civic associations in our local communities, they usually have the community good as a whole. They want everyone in the community to achieve something, to better all of us. Special interest groups usually represent a small minority interest, such as like dairy farmers have a lobbyist. That's not for the entire community, that's just for their own interest. So I think that Tocqueville would make a distinction between the two.
However, I still think that interest groups are important for the democratic process because they do bring these special interests to national attention. And Madison in Federalist 10 mentions that he recognized that these special interests are inevitable. However, because the United States has so many of them, they balance each other out and allow these issues to be addressed.
However, I also think that Tocqueville would note that community groups are important. In Robert Putnam's book, Bowling Alone, he mentions that more people are bowling, however, those people aren't bowling in leagues anymore, they're bowling alone due to technology and solitary life that's increasing in America. And I think that Tocqueville would note that these community groups that used to occur in such vibrance should still occur today.